Let's start not on the parks, but on the streaming business. How good were those streaming numbers? And does it actually suggest that Netflix, particularly in the US, was actually a bad print for the quarter?
The Disney direct-to-consumer numbers were great. Disney Plus was very strong, as was Hulu. ESPN Plus was kind of as expected, but the numbers were really strong, and we think they will continue to be strong. The company is rolling out in Latin America with their Star service later this month. And importantly, they're rolling out Disney Plus in Japan, full rollout in Japan in October, which is a wealthy market that has a huge affinity to Disney. And it should be like a big positive for the company, and that's October.
On the theme parks, do you think it's just a temporary post-pandemic bounce, or is there steady growth to come in the years ahead?
I mean, that's the bulk of our thesis. We think that the parks are so underestimated in terms of what they can do. The leverage here is ginormous. It really is huge. So the company used the pandemic to improve the technology, which will affect many things. So they're working on a lot. They sort of hinted at news coming with this Disney Genie. But basically what they've done, they're able to move people through the parks faster with some of the technology. They've been able to cut costs. And also by being able to move people, they've actually increased capacity. Even with capacity restrictions, they've increased capacity. We see that people are just dying to get back to the parks. And so demand has been strong even without international attendance, which can be 15 or 20% of the total. So per caps are high. We think this is a 5-year plus trend. When parks bounce back, they typically go for a very long time, and the demand here is super strong.
Jessica, we had Tom Rogers on Fast Money last night, a former media executive himself, and he perhaps looked at the Disney report with a little bit more of dour glasses than I've seen a lot of folks. And when he looks at the subscriber numbers, he wants to know how much of that is coming from Hotstar, from India. And he sort of acted as if the boost from that was not going to be as valuable as if it came from somewhere else. How do you feel about the breakdown of the subscriber growth? And is that important to your buy thesis here and your stock price target of 223?
The company will hit, probably sooner rather than later, their target of 240 to 260 million global subs, probably exceed that. Yes, the Malaysia, India, those markets have very low ARPU, but they are subs, and there's an advertising component. As I mentioned, they are going into Japan, which is a very high, just like the third largest market. So this is a global platform, and there's going to be a lot of competition coming to Netflix as Disney expands its platform and as the other media companies expand their platforms. Netflix has had a humongous advantage in rolling out earlier with a ton of content. What the media companies have that's a real strength, they have deep libraries, film and TV libraries that are well-known, great brands, and they have production capability. So for Disney, they're just beginning to ramp up their production. So you saw with Loki how engaged consumers were with Mandalorian, and then some of the movies are working like Luca, but their content is really it hasn't really. They're not on a cadence yet, like a normal cadence. So that's all coming.